All right, it's now time for us to cross on over to our politics report. Natasha Perry with the politics wrap for today.
Thank you so much, Mbali. And of course, to our SABC viewers, welcome to the segment of the politics wrap. Moving on to the story, the Inkatha Freedom Party will be holding a two-day NEC meeting on Sunday and Monday. Top of the agenda will be to outline a roadmap for its elective conference, issues around governance, and assessing the 100 days of the GNU, of which the party is a part of. The party has since extended the term of office of the current leadership. The party's parliamentary and legislature caucuses will be attending the meeting, which will be held in Durban. Now moving on to the story now, Tshwane residents will know on Thursday who their new mayor will be following the ousting of Cilliers Brink last Thursday. The DA is adamant that they'll be fielding the name of Brink, whilst the preferred mayoral candidate for ActionSA is Nasiphi Moya. The ANC's national leadership, on the other hand, is expected to report back to party leaders in Tshwane about fielding a mayoral candidate. Joining us now in studios, ActionSA's Gauteng Provincial Chair Funzi Ngobeni and ANC National Spokesperson Mahlengi Bhengu-Motsiri to talk to us more on this issue. Thank you so much for joining us in studio. I think first and foremost, Funzi, let me start off with you. A notice has been issued for council sitting on Wednesday. Time is clearly running out. But from ActionSA, do you think that Nasiphi Moya will be the mayor come Thursday?
Yeah, no, thank you very much, and thank you for having us. Yeah, indeed, I mean, we have been quite clear in terms of saying our aspirations, our wishes will be to have the Deputy Mayor Nasiphi Moya as a candidate. But we have also said that we are still busy with negotiations, so we are not going to those negotiations with an attitude, with arrogance. We are talking to our colleagues in the ANC, and the product of those discussions will be a candidate that we all agree on.
And Mahlengi, you've just heard what Funzi had to say. I believe that both party leadership had a meeting on Wednesday. What were the outcomes of that meeting? And also, my understanding is that the top brass had made a decision, or there's a deadline for today, that you would inform the Tshwane leadership on who the ANC's preferred candidate will be.
I'm not certain about that deadline. What I can indicate, and thank you very much for having us, Natasha, what I can indicate is that the process of consultation is ongoing, and of course will be concluded as soon as is possible, in line with the applicable guidelines for when council is constituted. Part of the negotiation, together with ActionSA and other players in the politics and the landscape in Tshwane, is going to be a conversation about how do we put the interests of the people of Tshwane first and foremost above the interests of political organizations. And as you've heard our ANC Youth League stressing the need to have leaders who uphold the high moral standing, who are going to focus on bringing services to all of the communities of Tshwane and not just one section of the community.
Mahlengi, just probably leads us into those conversations from the ANC side. I mean, last week we had the likes of George Machila in studio. There have been so many names that have been thrown around from the ANC's corner. You know, you have the likes of Hoshima Yeba, Eugene Modise, and like you've cited the ANC Youth League, they want Cilliers Brink as their mayoral candidate. Just let us into those conversations, perhaps.
No, our structures, both at the regional and provincial levels, are very well aware that the nomination of mayoral candidates is the purview of national officials of the ANC. That's an established tradition in the ANC as I speak. And so all our structures are quite well aware. I'm sure it is possible for people to have all manner of preferences, but ultimately it is a decision of national officials. Tshwane is the capital city of our country, has various national key points. It's important that whoever is deployed to lead the city, someone who has a keen appreciation and understanding of the challenges of governance and why it's important that that city gets governed properly.
And Funzi, I understand that both you and Mahlengi are saying, listen, there's still a process that's been undergoing right now. of consultations. But if the ANC doesn't back Nasiphi Moya as the mayoral candidate, what then happens? Will we or see an agreement, or perhaps between the two parties, that says, okay, the ANC will have a deputy mayor position if Nasiphi is actually, voted in as the mayor of Tshwane and the position of speaker?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think we have also gone on record to say, I mean, if ANC brings a better candidate, it's something that we'll sit down and discuss, and we will probably agree with that kind. I think the issue really, much as we are talking about candidates for the mayor, the issue is not narrowly only about positions, about just the mayor's positions. The discussions are actually, as you said, we met on Wednesday. They're going to the extent of talking about issues that need to be resolved in Tshwane. How are we going to turn around the financial situation of Tshwane? How are we going to make sure that service delivery, as Dr. Moya is continuing to oversee it, how do we make sure that we accelerate it? How do we ensure that we complete the projects that are on the ground, like Hammanskraal water treatment plant, ensuring that people of Hammanskraal gets water, before the end of this year, So those issues are key in the discussions, rather than just focusing on the position of the mayor. So I'm just saying to you that yes, it is a discussion about the mayoral candidate, but it doesn't end there. If ActionSA doesn't get that, it's not the end of the world. It's something that we will be able to then say, yes, the ANC have put forward someone who's capable, who's credible, who is able to lead the city. Let's back him and ensure that our people in Tshwane get the services they deserve. Okay,
Mahlengi, on a similar related issue, last week we saw the DA giving the ANC an ultimatum, saying that back us with Cilliers Brink, or else our talks in all these other hung municipalities will be, soured. And furthermore, the DA in the province has requested a meeting with ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa, that John Steenhuisen actually speak to him, because according to their understanding as the DAs, that, the GNU needs to filter down not only to just national, but also provincial and local. What is your understanding of that? And have you engaged the DA perhaps on this very issue and the threats that were actually made by Helen Zille?
Oh, certainly. I mean, there has been a lot of consultations with the DA as signatories to the statement of intent that was put together by the African National Congress, who went on to invite a number of political parties in South Africa to join it in constituting a government of national unity. So there has been a lot of consultations with the Democratic Alliance. What obtains at a national level? There was never a time where the agreement was that it is going to be automatically something that gets cascaded at a provincial level, precisely because provinces have got all sorts of different dynamics. You can't just have one formula. So we've noted comments and statements attributed to Helen Zille, and we frowned upon an idea of being threatened, that if we do what we do on the strength of being persuaded that this is the correct course of action for the people of Tshwane, that we must have a word that says we are going to walk out of the GNU, or the GNU is threatened. We believe that many South Africans, and I think this has been there's been a testament to that, are some of the pollsters who are saying that there is a strong warming up to the practice and the concept of the government of national unity. And that as we are commemorating, because we're not celebrating yet, commemorating the 100 days of the government of national unity, there is a groundswell of positive energy in the country around that. And we believe that not one party should threaten a process that is fragile, but a process that is growing in leaps and bounds. And in a nutshell, I'm saying that what Helen Zille is saying is not something that will affect the decision-making processes of the African National Congress, because we are an independent body and we're not answerable to Helen Zille.
Okay. Funzi, Mahlengi has just stressed, just reflecting on the 100 days of the GNU. Now, ActionSA is not a part of a government of national unity, but you being a party out on the outskirts, just looking in, your reflections on the 100 days of GNU.
Yeah, look, I think we were the first one to wish them well. You know, yes, we are not part of that, but we have always said that at the national level, we will be a constructive opposition. You know, when items are brought to our attention, are brought in front of us, we'll not just oppose them for the sake of opposition. We'll engage them, and that's what our leaders in the National Assembly have been doing. Even when budgets were being you know, tabled in Parliament, we supported some of the budget. Yes, some of them we didn't support, and we gave reasons as to why we didn't do so. Even at the provincial level here in where I'm serving, the Gauteng legislature, we supported some of the budgets that were put forward by Nasiphi's government. We criticized some of them, we voted them down, but eventually, you know, we supported the overall budget that was tabled. So we have taken that posture to say, yes, somebody needs to hold this government accountable, and we thought that that would be us at that level. And as you correctly indicated earlier on, at the local level, we are taking a different type of an approach. In Johannesburg, we are in the legislature, holding the speaker's position, and certainly some of the Section 79 chairs. In Tshwane, we are negotiating on getting into government and to the executive. Of course, the Ekuleni is also, you know, something that we are also talking about. So, as Mahlengi was saying, you know, the dynamics are different. If you look at, you know, the posture of ActionSA at the national level compared to what is happening at local government. So, I think political parties, as independent entities, you know, should be able to be allowed to make their decisions, strategic, and they must, you know, fall on the decisions that they are making. It's really abnormal that other parties will, at this particular time, wanting to threaten others, you know, going on a backlash and mobilizing Twitter bots to attack us and all those things. It's really unbecoming. It's undemocratic for parties to do such things. But we understand, you know, where they are, and we keep on doing what we have to do, and ensuring that we prepare ourselves for next week in Tshwane.
Okay. Mahlengi, Funzi here mentions Nasiphi. I was talking to the DA National spokesperson on Monday, and she says that they deem Nasiphi as a stumbling block to a formation of a GPU in Gauteng. How do you respond to that? But furthermore, we're hearing, you know, rumors, some are saying that there might be a possible dissolution of the PC in KZN and Gauteng. Is that true or not?
Well, I mean, I think there is a lot of sponsorship of things that we do not know about. There has not been any discussion to the effect of disbanding the two, the provincial executive committees of KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. The National Working Committee of the ANC paid visits to those two provinces, and that report is being processed ahead of the National Executive Committee meeting. And so we will advise our supporters and our members to await the ongoing discussions to seek to enhance and strengthen those two provinces where there is a need to do so, including in the domain of governance. But there is no such a decision, it's as well as no such a thing as a Nasiphi being a stumbling block. The ANC is a unitary organization. I don't think that one provincial leader can be a stumbling block to what is being planned at a global level, at a national level. I noted that that formed part of the narrative that was being peddled by Helen Zille and company. It's important to suggest that the people desist from trying to divide the African National Congress. We are as united as possible. The ANC is governed by some of the principles called democratic centralism. So our provinces know that they may very well have views. They can forward those views, can share those views with national, but ultimately the decision is the decision of national officials, particularly as it pertains to mayoral candidates. I do also wish to point out that let us look at what is coming out of Tshwane. I was listening to several clips of the former mayor, Randall Williams. Let us also look at lack of service delivery in the townships. Look at the state of sanitation in Tshwane. And indeed, there is a compelling reason for wanting to have voted out the former mayor, Cilliers Brink. There is an important reason for why both the ActionSA and the ANC, in its discussions, to really pay particular attention to service delivery and getting people who are upright morally and those that really care about the act of service to the people.
Mahlengi, before Funzi wraps it up for us, I just want your comments on the resignation of the former KZN Premier and former Deputy Chair of the ANC in KZN, Mr. Willis Mkhunu.
We have noted that Willis Mkhunu has resigned from the African National Congress. We also acknowledge the fact that anyone that joins the ANC do so voluntarily and they do so individually. And when they decide to leave the organization, when it does not serve what they stand for at that given point, that is to be expected and it is to be welcomed, because we're a democracy and we do exercise internal democracy in the organization. We are aware of overtures and discussions that have been taking place for some time, particularly in KwaZulu-Natal, regarding some of our senior leaders who are being spoken to in relation to going to other political parties, including the MK party. We believe that South Africa is a democracy. People are allowed to do so. Of course, we are disappointed because Willis Mkhunu is one of those veterans of the ANC, but it is a democratic process. The ANC remains strong and united.
Okay. Briefly, Funzi, in 30 seconds, where does this now leave your relationship with the Democratic Alliance? Is this the end of the working relationship between ActionSA and the DA?
Yeah, in terms of the coalition in Tshwane, it's over. You know that we left the multi-party charter a long time ago. Look, we are not going to sit here and say we'll never work with the DA. Okay. The mistake we did when we said we'll never work with the ANC. So we will, at some point we'll cross paths probably and still work together. But for now, the relationship is non-existent. Okay,
to my two studio guests, I wish we had more time. Thank you so much for joining us on the Politics Wrap. And of course, interesting times are ahead of us. On Wednesday is the council sitting, and I think on Thursday, the residents of Tshwane will know who their new mayor is. Of course, we'll take you to the weather, and Bani will be back at the top of the hour.